Now let us jump to what you had to say, and the first comment comes from Alan, aka Sound Speeds, and he says, since you asked for someone that produces audio and film to answer about the 15K roll-off, I will oblige on their behalf because I may be the next best thing. If memory serves, the loudest frequency a human voice has ever been recorded at was around 17 kilohertz through 7th and 8th order harmonics, but don't quote me on that. Humans hear most comfortably along the A weight curve. Bandrew, can you put it up on screen? I've turned into Jamie from Joe Rogan. Hey, Jamie, pull it up on screen. Thanks a lot, Alan. You're now the host of the Sound Speed Says podcast. Goodness gracious. But yes, it will be on screen. This is the frequency range the human ear is best tuned to, with you hearing frequencies best between about 2 to 3 kilohertz. You hear frequencies between about 250 and 11 kilohertz up to 10 dB lower, and it falls off the farther you go to either extreme. In 2010, I was working on a show called Drop Dead Diva, and our post-audio editing team was mainly made up of older guys. While watching the show, during the one scene, the sound mixer and I noticed a high-pitched noise only when one actor was on screen. Thinking back, this was because an 18K light was being used on one actor's coverage, but not the other because the cameras were looking different directions. My mixer reached out to Post and told us that they were rushed to get the sound done in time to air, so they didn't have time to run all the processes they wanted to on the audio, and one of those was high-frequency roll-off. They couldn't hear it, so the audio went out with that loud ringing. They fixed it before it re-aired. Another thing to consider is that if you are producing content for streaming services, they often don't pass audio above a certain frequency range, and sometimes it's different if you go mono versus stereo. Dave Rat tested YouTube with frequency sweeps up to 50 kilohertz in 44.1 and 48 kilohertz mono and stereo, and he revealed that YouTube aggressively rolls off frequencies above about 15.7 kilohertz if stereo and 17.2 kilohertz if mono. If they don't even bother with audio way up there, why should you? Yes, air frequencies are above 12K, and air does give your audio a more open sound, but 15 kilohertz is perfectly acceptable. Even lower, in my opinion. I wouldn't sweat rolling off above 15 kilohertz. Many movies will keep dialogue rolled off far lower than that to make room for the rest of the mix. And there you have it. I successfully baited Alan, aka Sound Speeds, into replying with that in-depth response. I win. I win this round, world. He gave you all the information and research, and I just had to read it. Poorly, I might add, but I had to read it. He did the research and the clickety-clack. The thing that I found most shocking about this, I knew about the 15 kilohertz roll-off because Alan did a video about that a couple of years ago on YouTube, and that's why I started uploading higher quality M4A audio of my reviews to my website, because that doesn't have that 15 or 17 kilohertz high pass, or low pass filter rather. It doesn't have that, so in case somebody wants to hear the full frequency range, they can go to my site and hear that. But the thing that blew my mind was the difference between stereo and mono. It makes sense due to the file size, but I had never considered that. Stereo goes up to 15.7 kilohertz, mono goes up to 17.2. So if you want to maintain the highest amount of fidelity in your spoken word audio on YouTube, 48 kilohertz, or was it 44.1 that went up higher? 44.1 or 48 kilohertz at mono seems to be the way to go. But there you go.